Hello everyone, welcome to Come Sit at My Table. We are Tom and Melissa and we're thrilled that you're here with us today. We are making chicken pot pie. I will tell you that this is one of the first things Melissa made for me. It wasn't the very first, but one of the first things she made for me was a homemade chicken pot pie when we started dating, and I have loved it ever since. Let's talk about what you're going to need to make this homemade chicken pot pie. First, you're going to need a 9 by 13 baking dish, casserole dish, and it needs to be sprayed. You want to spray it with Pam, or you could put olive oil and brush it on there, but you do want it greased so it won't stick. All right, now the ingredients you're going to need are 4 cups of cubed chicken. Now, I don't cube mine very big. I use kind of a small cube because I like to get a bite of chicken and a bite of vegetables and some of the crust on each spoon. So I dice it, I don't know, fairly small, not tiny, but just dice up your chicken. You're also going to need some hard-boiled eggs. Now, I've done 4 here. I may only need to use 3. We'll see. These are kind of small eggs. They are fresh eggs right off the farm, so they're not quite as large as what you would get at the grocery. So I did go ahead and boil 4. I may not use them all. If not, I'll eat the other one with some salt. Then you're either going to need a can of Veg-All, and this is a 29-ounce can of Veg-All, or you're going to need a bag of frozen vegetables. We prefer using the Veg-All because you don't have to do anything but open it, drain it, and put it in. If you use the frozen vegetables, a bag of frozen vegetables, you're going to have to cook those according to the package directions before you put them in the dish. So you're certainly welcome to do that. If you have a bag of frozen mixed vegetables in your freezer, use it if you want to. But we normally use a can of Veg-All just because it's so much easier. Then, and let me tell you, you're going to layer those 3 things in your dish. You'll put the chicken, then the sliced eggs, and then the Veg-All. Next, you're going to combine 2.5 cups of chicken broth with about 22 ounces of some kind of cream of soup. Now, today we're using cream of chicken. You could use 2 small cans, which are like 10.5 or 11 ounces, or you could use one of the family-sized cans. I'm using the family-sized can today because that's what we had in our pantry. And I'm using cream of chicken. You can use cream of onion, which is what we normally use in this, but I didn't have any, and there was no way I was going to the grocery store just to get 2 cans of cream of onion soup. We've also used cream of mushroom. We've used cream of celery. So any of those work. It's really up to you. It's your preference, whatever your taste is. Today we're using cream of chicken. Then you're going to take those 2 ingredients, the soup and the broth, and you're going to bring it to a boil on your stove. And I have already done that. Ours is boiling over here. I've got it on the low just so it doesn't boil over. But you do want that hot and bubbling when you pour it over your vegetables, eggs, and chicken. And the last step is you're going to mix 6 tablespoons of melted butter, 1.5 cups of self-rising flour. Make sure you use self-rising. If you use all-purpose, your crust just isn't going to puff up and look right and probably taste right. So make sure you're using self-rising flour. Then you need 1.5 cups of whole milk. You're going to need half a teaspoon of black pepper. And then you're going to need some garlic powder and some onion powder. Normally, I just shake these on, but today, just so we can do it for the video, pardon me, I am going to measure. Okay, so let's get everything in. We're going to put our 4 cups of chicken in, and we'll just spread that out. You just want a nice layer in the bottom of your greased dish. Then we're going to put on our sliced eggs. If you don't have an egg slicer, grab a knife and just start slicing. It's not that hard. Just slice them up. And all you want to do is just layer them on. Just kind of spread them out a little bit. Put them all over your chicken. You just want a nice, good layer. You don't have to be too careful with it. Just put them on there. And let me tell you, you would think, well, it's just a hard-boiled egg. It's not that big of a deal. I'll just leave it out. I promise you, it makes a difference. We really like the hard-boiled eggs in it. So don't leave those out. Use those. And you know what? I think I am going to use all 4 of them. These were kind of small eggs, but man, they have been so good. We have a friend who has chickens. Actually, we have several friends that have chickens. And so we buy eggs from them, or once in a while, somebody will just say, hey, we've got extra chicken eggs. You want a dozen? And the answer is always,
yes, we do.
Yes, we do. Absolutely. Okay, so we have our chicken in, and we have our eggs in. Now we're going to take our drained, and I have drained the water or the juice off of our Veg-All, and we're just going to spread that all over the eggs and the chicken. Get it all in there. Make sure it's all in. You sure don't want to waste any of that. By the way, I have preheated my oven. It had a little string on it right there. I don't like that. I have preheated my oven to 425 degrees. And we will be baking this for 30 minutes. Okay, let's get everything out of the way. Get this up here where we can start putting it together. So we have our, it is boiling, our boiling chicken soup and chicken broth, or whatever kind of soup you want.
Or have in your pantry.
Or have in your pantry. If you're like us, you don't want to have to go to the store just to buy a can of soup or a couple cans of soup. So use what you've got. That's what makes it good. And we don't like anything dry. We like wet pizza. We like plenty of dipping sauce for our breadsticks, all that kind of thing. So we put a lot of this on there. Okay. Now we're going to mix up our crust. So in goes the flour. In goes the milk. In goes the butter. That butter just makes it really rich and delicious. We'll put half a teaspoon of pepper. You do not need more salt. There's salt in your vegetables, in your Veg-All. There's salt in the chicken broth. And there's salt in the soup. So you don't need to add more salt. Trust me on that. I'm not going to tell you not to. I shouldn't have said that. If you want to add salt, you add it. It's your dish. But with the chicken broth, the soup, and the Veg-All, you really don't need to add more salt, in our opinion. Okay, so all the crust ingredients are in. Now we're just going to mix it up. I use a whisk, but I will tell you, I don't care what you use, you're not going to get all the lumps out of this.
This will be lumpy.
It will be lumpy. And you may even sling it out on the counter. Oh, if I can make a mess, I will. All right. Now, we may or may not get all this in there. Just going to pour this right over the top. All right. There it is. Looks pretty good. Okay. Now, let me clean up my mess. So I'm on the edge of the dish and on the counter. Clean that up. Now, we're going into the oven, 425 degrees. It's already preheated for 30 minutes. When this is done, we'll be right back. Our chicken pot pie is out of the oven. I left it in about 25 minutes. I felt like the crust was plenty brown enough, so I decided to go ahead and take it out. I didn't leave it the full 30 minutes. You'll just have to kind of watch yours, and when you feel like the crust is brown enough, take it out. Now, I have just taken it out of the oven, so it is scorching hot. You would probably want to let it sit for, I don't know, 15 minutes or so to kind of cool off and to let the juice under the crust thicken a little bit. As it sits, it will thicken up. But since we need to do a little taste for the video, I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece and scoop it out. Yum. This is what Melissa and I are having for our big meal today. Look at this delicious gravy that it makes in the bottom. Doesn't that look wonderful? And I really like to just pour it right over top of mine, even on top of the crust. Okay.
I'd like to know how many times we've made this over the years.
I don't even have a guess. Do you?
Well, I was working on my master's degree when Terry Rhodes gave me this recipe. We were carpooling back and forth to Morehead State University, working on our master's degree. I think it was in the summer. Could have been in a fall or spring semester, but I'm pretty sure it was in the summer.
You have any idea what year that would have been? You graduated from college in
89. But then I was working on my master's the next couple of years after that.
Probably
so 90, 91.
90, yeah.
I think there were 4 of us that were carpooling.
Yeah.
And I don't know, one day we talked about, something to have for dinner, and Terry whipped out this recipe for us. So thank you, Terry. We've enjoyed it many times.
Thanks, Terry. You have no idea how many times we've made this. And every time we make it, Melissa mentions you. So you've been thought of a lot in this house when we make this. This is scorching hot. I hope I don't burn my mouth. Oh,
you could have a little princess bite,
No. One thing I forgot to tell you, if you want to add other vegetables to this when you put your Veg-All on, you can do that. If you want to add like a can of white shoe peg corn, that would be delicious in it. Veg-All has some peas in it, but there aren't many. So if you'd like to add just another small can of peas, drain those and add them, you could do that. You can make it your own. If you want an onion in it, chop up a small onion and put in there. Celery, whatever you like, you can put in it. Just know that you can only fill it so full and then it will kind of bubble over. So just be careful how much you put in there.
Definitely need a deep dish casserole.
Yeah, you have to have something deep. Okay, I'm hoping I don't burn my mouth. And by the way, Melissa told me she was going to wait until we eat in just a few minutes, not to feed her a bite. So I'm not being rude and taking it on myself. Thank you, Terry. Man, that is so good. All right. You can't go wrong with this. And if you would have your chicken ready, you could cook and cube up your chicken the night before. Or if you have some leftover rotisserie chicken, we get rotisserie chickens occasionally from Costco. If you have some leftover rotisserie chicken, pull it off the bone, chop it up, use it in this. If you had that chicken ready, everything else goes together that fast. So this would be a really quick meal to get on the table like on a weeknight after work or whatever. All right, we do appreciate that you watch our videos and that you are so nice to leave us kind comments. If you would please click the thumbs up under this video. That just says you liked our video. And if you have not already, please click the subscribe button under the video and the little notification bell where it is right beside the subscribe button, and click the word all. Most importantly, if you would share our videos, tell your neighbors, your friends, your family about our videos, and help us get more subscribers. We have just gone over 3,100 subscribers, which is huge. We never dreamed we would have 3,100 people watching our videos. So that's really cool for us. But if you would help us get more subscribers, we sure would appreciate it. And remember, you are always welcome to come sit at my table. Have a great day.